funk. Thoughts deep, boys steeped in the depths that he sunk. Big stress, depressed in the middle of fall. Sky gray, I late in the thick of it all. I wonder, how long can a human survive just staying alive or carrying the rest of the tribe? Waiting for the day to arrive or struggling dies, and I be doing way, way more than getting by. So why? Cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Realize life is so much more than just living a day. Every day I can sit and reflect and reconnect to myself and know that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So when I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopting a new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress and bring me looking like when blessings drop in. And so I cop myself a cup of coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Coffee, sipping water in it softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, here we go. Yeah. Let's do this. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In times of test, let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Test. Let no harm beset me, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Woo.
Happy Sunday to y'all. What's up with it? What's up with it, y'all? Appreciate y'all tuning into the stream today on this Sunday. Hey, first of all, I know a lot of y'all was wondering, man, where the hell did Urban go? Urban haven't did no streaming almost like in 2 weeks, and the last time he did stream, that's when he DJ'd on Valentine's Day. Well, your boy Urban needed to take some more time off from on YouTube. Let me correct myself. I needed to take time off from streaming on YouTube. All right. What I mean by that, I needed to take a break from doing some content for a while on YouTube. The reason why is because I don't want to get burned out in providing quality content to y'all, to be quite honest with you. And I know how it is. I know how it is as being a content creator that you always in charge to always finding topics to talk about, trying to find and research. Thanks, Stan. Trying to find and research different topics to talk about, trying to research this, research that, present it to y'all, and all those other things that happen on the back end. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort in order to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I've been on going hard doing this since the beginning of the year. To be quite frank with y'all, I've been going hard since 2023 last year. So I felt that it was good for me to go ahead and just take a little short-term break. Now, keep in mind, I wasn't taking a break from YouTube altogether, because those of y'all who probably was following me, I was in other people on panels and engaging other people, you know, shows and panels, doing different things like that, sharing out other people's content, doing different things like that. I didn't take a break from that. Only just take a break from content creating. All right. So the break was well needed. I appreciate everyone who understood the reason why I was doing what I was doing. And now Urban did not give up on YouTube neither. So all the critics and retractor, they're out there. No, I'm here. I'm live and I'm well and I'm back again. All right. So without further ado, I appreciate y'all understanding that. And I'm just like I say, I am back to producing content for y'all today. All right, including my DJ and content, which I normally do that on the weekends for y'all. So appreciate that. All right. So other than that, I hope y'all doing real good on this Sunday, the Sunday before President Day. Those of y'all who celebrate President Day, salute to you on that. I'm more of a type of person, I just see it as another holiday, to be honest with y'all. But however, we are off for work tomorrow. At least majority of us are out for work tomorrow. And unfortunately, the kids is out of school too. But it is what it is. So those of you who celebrate President Day, once again, salute to you on that. Those of you who are off on President Day, make sure you get your well-deserved relaxation on that day. You know, try to keep it a minimal. You know, just kind of chill, do basic stuff, but don't try to overwork yourself. You know, those of y'all who have to work on President Day, salute to you as well too. And also, don't overwork yourself. If you can, take your breaks and take your mental breaks as you see fit, according to the business need of the job or company that you're a part of. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this content today that I presented for y'all. All right. So today's content, I'm going to talk about reasons why you must stay in a struggle relationship. Okay. Once again, I'm going to talk about reasons why you must stay in a struggle relationship. Now, I already know right off the bat, many of y'all who are watching right now, y'all are immediately cussing me out. I know y'all are. Y'all saying, Urban, you done lost your goddamn mind. Why in the world do we need to stay in struggle relationships? I'm going to break it down for y'all, okay? And I'm going to explain the reason why we need to stay in struggle relationships, okay? But first, like I always like to put myself on the firing squad, you know, when we having these type of conversations, especially these type of tough conversations dealing with relationships. Okay. So I remember there was a time where, not my current match, but my previous match. And I remember there was a time where me and my former wife struggled a lot in relationships. There's a time where we disagreed about a lot of different things. There was a time where we couldn't just get it together, see eye to eye on a lot of issues in our relationship. That relationship manifested into a struggling relationship. And from a struggling relationship, it manifested into a toxic relationship. Which just brings me to my point right now. When I mention about struggle relationships, I want y'all to understand this and understand this clearly. When I'm talking about struggle relationships, I'm not talking about toxic relationships, okay? Struggle relationships and toxic relationships are two totally different things that I'm going to be talking about today, all right? A matter of fact, I'm going to break down to y'all my meaning of a struggle relationship versus a toxic relationship, okay? But before I get to that, salute to everyone who's on tuning in right now. I see everybody who's on pulling up right now in the chat right now. Scorpio, I see you. Appreciate you. Salute to you. South Pass Reader, appreciate you. Salute to you as well too, and everybody else who are watching either of the bushes, who are going to catch the replay, or you're going to go ahead and participate in this conversation. Appreciate you on tuning into the stream. Thank you so much. So let me go ahead and break this down to y'all. All right. I'm gonna break this down to y'all about the difference between struggle relationships and toxic relationship. Okay. First of all, this is what struggle relationships mean to me. All right. Struggle relationship means this. It means that there are certain situations that happen to you, that happen in your life, or happen even in relationships that is completely and absolutely out of your control. What I mean by this, like for example, something like a medical situation where it happened either to you or your partner. Financial situation that probably happened to either you or your partner. Or even something spiritual happened to you and your partner. These are certain things that does happen in relationships. The reason why these things happen in relationship is because when we deal with universal law, right? Not everything is going to be absolute all the time, okay? There's going to be a time where you're going to be tested in your relationship, and you're also going to be tested as individuals as well too, okay? This is what I mean about struggle relationship, where certain things happen to you in the course of your life, personally and while you're in that relationship, that you had no control of whatsoever. It just happened that way. Like once again, when we deal with medical, right? Let's say, for example, you or your significant other were to become ill. We can argue and say that you probably became ill because you wasn't taking care of yourself, you wasn't doing this or that. We can argue that, but let's also be kind of realistic about this situation too. Let's say that your significant other developed a certain type of disease that they didn't even know that they had, and it was manifested itself. Like say, for example, sickle cell. So, say for example, cancer, or any of these type of diseases that end up on manifesting itself. Y'all didn't know about it, but it just slowly creeped this way, and next thing you know, it becomes a struggle for your partner for medical reasons. Now, my question to y'all is this: because you're dealing with this situation, right? Do you choose to stay in this relationship, or do you leave this relationship? Here's another example with this medical thing. Let's say, for example, hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say that you're out one day, right, and driving your car. Next thing you know, you end up getting into a tragic accident. The accident ended up rendering your significant other paralyzed. Your significant other ended up being either being a quadriplegic or paraplegic, whatever you want to call it, right? So from that point on, you have to take care of your significant other due to what happened to them, right? So do you stay in that relationship even though it's going to be a struggle? You're going to be struggling with the medical aspect of that, right? Meaning that you're going to have to go to all the different doctor appointments that occurs through this. Going to have to go through all the different rehabilitation things that happen in this situation. Not to mention the financial part of the situation too, where at first your significant other was bringing in the same type of revenue or the same type of income into your relationship, right? Y'all both was doing it equally together. You was bringing in 100% of income because you wanted to work, and he or she was bringing in the same type of income because they was working. But once when that person ended up becoming injured in that area, right, guess what? They're now disabled. Guess what? They no longer be able to do they want to do this that their job required them to do. Therefore, it will significantly impact your income that you bring into your household. Then, not only that, y'all now are incurring medical bills as well too. All these different new expenses is coming up into your household. So by me mentioning this, right, this is what I'm talking about, dealing with struggle relationships, okay? When something happened to you that it's beyond your control, it just happened the way it did, you know what I'm saying? This happened in a situation the way it did. Here's another example, and this situation dealt with my previous marriage. Okay, there was a point in time with me where I was still young, right? A matter of fact, when I was in my first marriage, I married young. I married when I was 23 years old. Okay, I married when I was 23 years old, and also my ex-wife was 5 years older than me, like five or 6 years older than me, okay? So imagine being 23 years old, right? I already married, barely experienced what life has to offer to you. I made the choice to settle down with her to be honest with you, for spiritual reasons of first. Or you can even say religious reason. Because I was brought up into a household, a very religious household, where the household I was brought up to, they believe in traditional values based on Christian ideology, okay? That ideology includes with, the term of shacking, okay? So I didn't want to look bad before the eyes of God, and also before the eyes of my parents and, my relatives and everybody like that I was shacking and doing all these things, right? So I decided to marry this woman. Now, keep in mind, even in this situation right now, we are totally good. We're totally good. We co-parent together very effectively. We have a really, really good relationship, okay? But we're just not married no more. We're divorced, all right? But before then, I came to a crossroads in my life where I needed to redefine who I was. I needed to redefine my identity, because I started realizing that everything about me was only a mirror image of my upbringing. Meaning that I was mirroring the image of my father, who was present in my life all the way into when I graduated from high school. After that, my father passed away. I was also a mirror image of my mother, who's currently present and living right now. I was a mirror image of the rest of my immediate family as well too. Everything that we've been taught, I was a mirror image of that. But it came to the point to where I came to a crossroad where I needed to rediscover myself. I needed to figure out who I really was, because I was entering into a level of manhood, per se. I felt that during the time that I was married, I felt that I wasn't producing the way that I should, as far as being a man, and also for as being a husband to my previous wife. So in order for me to get to that process, right, I needed to redefine who I was. So through that process of me trying to redefine who I was, my ex-wife didn't agree with it at all, period. She has said triggering things such as I'm changing, such as she don't know who I am anymore. She said such trigger things such as she losing her love for me because I'm not the way she wanted me to be, which is how the way I was in the past. All these different things, right? So it caused us to not only have a struggle in our relationship, but it also caused for our relationship to ultimately end up becoming toxic, because there's a certain level of expectation that you look for. Now, once again, I want to let y'all know this. Her feelings, how the way she was feeling about that, was 100% valid, even though it led to it to be toxic. It was valid. The reason why I say that it was valid is for the simple fact that she had met a representation of me. That representation of me, that's who she fell in love with. So that's why I say that it was valid for her to feel that way. Very valid for her to feel that way. Because now that person who she originally fell in love with, that person started drifting away, where she no longer recognized who she was in a relationship with. Likewise, at the same token, I'm starting to see a new realistic person with her. I'm starting to see her being different as well too. And the reason why I'm saying her different is because throughout my journey of trying to, find myself and really become the man that I need to be so I can be the man that I need to be for her, she started changing as well too. I started seeing her as being more of a modern day woman. Like I talk about on this channel a lot about modern day women and their behavior. She started to become that representation a lot to me. She started to become that modern day woman. She started to become that feminist type ideology woman to me. And so also that caused her drift into our relationship, and that caused for our relationship to not only struggle, but it manifested itself into becoming a toxic relationship. Okay. While I'm on the topic once again to talk about toxic relationship, let me give y'all my definition of toxic relationships. Okay. Toxic relationship deals with this. It deals with any time the relationship becomes abusive. What I mean, anytime the relationship becomes abusive, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's mental abuse, whether it's financial abuse, whether it's even spiritual abuse or religious abuse, that is a toxic relationship. Period. That is a toxic relationship. So our relationship ended up manifesting into that, where it went from a struggle relationship where we just kind of struggling to try to get it together, but ultimately if we stay in it, we'll kind of reconnect and find each other. Instead of it staying in that dynamics, it ended up manifesting itself into a toxic relationship where we both started losing each other. We started losing the love, the admiration, and the support that we originally had from each other, because we didn't know who we were anymore. We didn't know who we were in a relationship anymore. And once again, all of this is valid. All this emotion is valid. Okay. So when we're talking about the topic of reasons why you should stay in a struggle relationship, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about after the point that your significant other has, literally found themselves, they know who they are, they have a strong foundation within their self, and they decide to share that moment with you, right? But however, certain situations were to happen in a relationship, I believe, matter of fact, not only I believe, I know without a shadow that you should stay in that struggle relationship. The reason why is because most of the times, depending on y'all maturity level, right, struggle relationships normally don't last forever. It'll only be struggling due to the circumstances that is happening in that moment. But eventually what's going to end up happening is that you're going to end up evolving into where you start becoming adaptable to what's changing around you. Just like the story earlier I shared with y'all about a person getting into an accident, right, and they end up becoming the quadriplegic or whatever the case might be, right, and y'all are incurring all these different expenses, whatever the case may be, right. But what's going to end up happening is that if you stay firm to that, you're going to end up adapting to the changes that are happening, and you're going to be able to work around it. Knowing you're going to be able to work around it, it's going to ultimately end up bettering y'all relationship in the long run. But the thing about it is that you have to stay in it. That's one thing about it. I want to show y'all a couple of videos. You know, like always, I got videos I want to show y'all, but I want to show y'all a couple of videos about this particular struggling relationship, all right? Because I want to give y'all an understanding about struggle relationships. What I'm gonna want to present to y'all today with these videos, I'm gonna present to y'all the different arguments about struggle relationship. I'm gonna want to present to y'all from a perspective, from a man's perspective dealing with struggle relationships, and I'm gonna present to y'all from the perspective of a woman dealing with struggle relationship. Then at the end of this, I'm going to bring this thing all the way together so we can have a realistic understanding about struggle relationships, and we can have a realistic understanding why it's important for us to stay in these type of struggle relationship, especially if you're in a relationship, and especially if you are married, whether if you're common law married, whether if you are legally married, whether if you unlicensed married, whatever the case may be, wherever the dynamics of your relationship is. Hopefully by the end of the stream, I'll give y'all a different perspective about this, all right? So if y'all ready for this, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you're able to share me out as well too, by all means share me out, because I believe this is one of these type of lives that's going to be very beneficial, all right? So before I start, let me go ahead and address the chat real quick. Once again, salute to everyone who are tuning in right now, everyone who are watching the stream right now, whether if you participate in the chat or if you watching in the bushes as well too, salute to you. Or if you want to catch the replay, salute to you as well too, salute. So far, Scorpio, she says this: you're supposed to stay through sickness that can't be helped. Facts, according to the wedding vows. If y'all go into legalized marriages, right? According to the wedding vows, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Yep. The marriage say sickness and health. I agree. Scorpio followed back and said, Urban, you be telling the truth and people don't like the truth. That is true too, but even though if people don't like the truth, I'm still going to tell it. I'm just going to be real about it and just tell you, all right? Jamil, what's up with it? Hello, Urban in the chat. Just saying hi. I'm at my birthday party. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Salute to your birthday. Salute to you. Enjoy your birthday. All right. And you can always catch the replay, or you can put in your headphones and watch me talk about this topic too on your headphones. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. But the more important part is enjoy your birthday for real, because you deserve that. Another one day on this earth living, that's awesome. That is awesome. But let's go ahead and get into this. All right, this is our first video. I want y'all to listen attentively to what Stephan going to say about this, okay?
Most relationships that involve connection and true love are typically hard. Not because relationships have to be hard, but because most people have been hurt by something in their life, are holding on to past traumas, haven't resolved it. Once they meet this individual that they feel so strongly about, it is scary. This is where things get difficult.
Right, absolutely. So Stephan, he first started off by saying, when you're into these type of relationships, it becomes hard. It's not hard because relationships are hard, period. It becomes difficult because of the different circumstances that happens in the relationship, okay? Just like what I stated earlier, sometimes you have certain shortcomings that happen to you, whether it's financial, whether it's medical, whatever it is, spiritual. Wherever the case may be, these things is going to occur in relationships, okay? It becomes difficult, all right? Then another point that he mentioned is that it ended up manifesting to a point where it becomes scary. What he's saying is absolutely true. It do become scary. The reason why it becomes scary because you're entering into a new level of understanding, right? Where you never dealt with this before. It becomes scary because now you're relying on another human being to help you, okay? Now keep in mind, in the past, when you used to be single, you could do whatever you want, when you want. You could, wherever you wanted to do, you did it. But now, since you're in a relationship, now you have to you have to be considerate of the other person that you're in a relationship with. You can't just do anything that you want all the time. You know what I'm saying? In a relationship. So it becomes scary because you don't know how that person's going to react to you, making certain choices and decisions in a relationship. Now, I want to let y'all know this too. When I was on studying for sociology, right? I had took a course dealing with marriage and family, and in that course, they gave me the understanding about the marriage and family dynamics, right? That course taught me about the traditional values of marriage and family, and also taught me about the modern day values of marriage and family as well too. One of the key things about that course that I took, right, it was giving us an understanding that things happen, right? When these things happen, you become afraid of that. And when you become afraid of that, there's nothing wrong because that is part of your human emotion because you're dealing with a certain human experience, okay? But the thing about it is that you have to learn certain type of techniques to help you get through that certain type of fear. Okay. This is why I always say when you're dealing with relationships, right? I honestly believe that every person who's in a relationship, whether you're married or you think about being married or you think about being in a relationship, right? I honestly believe that people need to go through some type of counseling for real. Pre-counseling, post-counseling, and all that stuff. Because when you deal with a professional person, and now let me put this as a disclaimer too. When I'm talking about a professional counselor, I'm not talking about going to your pastor, you know what I'm saying, or overseer your church and stuff, because the reason why is because sometimes that pastor or overseer will only give you advice based on a biblical or spiritual or religious perspective, but they don't give you the overall perspective. They don't give you overall solutions how to deal with relationships or situations dealing with relationships. Okay. Now, the only exception to that rule, if that pastor or overseer were to, in fact, also be study, these things, will have a degree in it, and that's part of their profession besides being a pastor. That's part of their profession of doing things. Now, that's totally different. Okay. But in most cases, pastors do not have that type of credentials or qualifications to give you a different perspective, to teach you how to handle these situations effectively, okay? But let me go ahead and continue this video, all right?
The difficultness in how do I handle this? How do I manage this? You'll have people feel like they're losing themselves, but they're not losing themselves. Their true self is coming out. And it's the self that's been hiding behind that wall they've been using for quote unquote protection.
And that's absolutely true. And this goes back to the story that I was going to tell you about myself when I, once again, I married when I was younger. I married when I was very young, 23 to be exact. And so I went through a point in time where I needed to find myself. But when I was going through that process of finding myself, it was that I was losing myself. It wasn't that at all. It was that I was rediscovering, or I was finding out who I truly am. Once again, whenever you're in a relationship, right, or you decide to enter into a relationship, right, one key thing that y'all need to understand is that once when you first meet that person, you're only going to meet the representation of that person. You're only going to meet the representation of that person. You're not going to meet the true, authentic person. The reason why is, once again, that deals with fear. Because some of us, we be wanting to be in a relationship so bad that we will literally put on a facade. We'll literally become actors. We'll literally become fake in order to get the desired outcome that we're looking for. Once again, through my perspective, it's very understandable why people do what they do. Hell, I did it, where instead of me being my true self, I set down the representation of myself. And personally, the reason why I personally did that is because of acceptance. I was in fear that this person would accept me for who I am. There are many other people that probably think the same way I think, where they don't have their true representation of themselves. They have a put on the facade of themselves, or facade for themselves, however I pronounce it, whatever. This is also true for when you look at modern day women. Okay, a lot of modern day women, they believe that the best representation of themselves is to sell them by their looks. They believe by them looking a certain way, putting on makeup, looking a certain way, this is going to help them with that type of representation. And furthermore, modern day women, they also believe that when they give out their certain credentials as well too, like some of them, they'll mention that they are degree, some of them mention about they on accomplishments, like they're CEO of a company, whatever the case may be. They do that in hopes that this man will accept them. But it's not in reality who they truly are. I believe that when you see a person for who they are, you're seeing the actual characteristics of them. You're seeing their authentic self. You're seeing them. You're seeing their strengths. You're seeing their weaknesses. But throughout the strengths and weaknesses, right, you begin to like it. Hell, you begin to fall in love with their strengths and weaknesses because they're showing who they truly are. They're showing their vulnerability towards you and everything. And I believe that particular thing is healthy for relationships. When I after when I went through the situation I went through, and I continue on that path for me finding myself, right, finding out who I truly am. Then once when I arrived to the conclusion of who I am and I start walking into that, right, eventually I end up on going back into the dating market. When I went back into the dating market, I realized that a lot of things has changed in the dating market. I also realized this. I also realized that since I'm on this new improved level, I done improve myself mentally, I improve myself spiritually, I improve myself financially. Now these different aspects, right, to put myself onto to being a quality type of man, right. I realized when I went out there, a lot of the women that I interacted with, they wasn't doing the same thing that I had did. They didn't go through the same type of process how I went through. But instead, guess what they was doing? They was only giving me the representation of them. And how the way I am, being analytical and I was been observing the people and I could just read people very well. I could just see right through the realness of the person. And it gave me the understanding that you're the type of person that I don't want to be in a relationship with because I know who you truly are. And so when I kept having these reactions to stuff, right, with these type of women, eventually that's when I meeting my actual wife right now, which is Mrs. Urban. When I met her, she was already established. She already went through the process of, finding herself and, all the good stuff. When I met her, I had met the true representation of her. I mean, the true self of her, not just a act of her. I met who she truly is. She met me, who I truly was. And we began to share experiences from that point. I'm going to tell y'all this today is because right now we're dealing with relationships right now where people are trying to be in relationships. Even many of y'all want to be married as well too, right? Many of y'all want to be married as well too, right? Or looking to be married. Now, once again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having that ambition. Don't let this modern day culture try to dictate to you to let you know that it's wrong for you to be in a relationship, that it's wrong for you to be married. Because, and the only reason why people are saying that is because they have not truly went through the process of finding themselves. They have not truly went through the process of dealing with them. They're dealing with their previous traumatic experience. They're dealing with their previous trauma. They're dealing with their previous toxic abuse that they've been through previous relationships, and they haven't healed from that. So don't let these type of people take you away from that at all, period. Just don't do it. Okay. Let me share with y'all another video. All right. This video is very interesting, and I want y'all to really listen to the message behind this video. And I also have kind of double thoughts about this, but I'm showing y'all the reason why. All right.
When a man is going through his darkest times in a relationship, one of the hardest things is when you start dealing with depression and anxiety and your woman leaves you because she can't handle it. But she told me every day she loved me and she would never leave me. But I suffered. I suffered after she left me. After she left me, when I was already going through this, she didn't educate herself. She didn't care. She was like, I wasn't communicating. Sweetheart, I don't even know how to handle it myself. I was suffering myself. I was in silence suffering every day. And you left me. Do you know how much that even puts me in a darker place? Do you know what my mind is going through? I'm suffering and you didn't even care. You just walked out. For all the men that are suffering in relationships, if you women just stick next to their side, it will pass by. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to be at all. But I want you to know that you're the cure. If you're in a marriage, the woman is the cure. Tell him to seek help. Tell him you're right there by his side. Let him know that you're not going to leave when he needs you the most. We suffer, man. And as soon as you leave us, I don't think you're ever going to see us again, because we may not be on this earth anymore because you killed us.
All right, so this is the reason why I have a double perspective about what he just said. All right, first of all, I'm gonna be quite clear on this. The woman is not the cure for your relationships, okay? Furthermore, the man is not the cure for your relationships, okay? Now, I know that some of us, we've been taught religiously that, we need each other in order to survive. Part of this notion is true when you think about it, like procreation purposes, that, yeah, we need each other to survive, to have the evolution of our human existence to keep thriving, okay? But however, based on what he's talking about, right? He's talking about being in the whole comfort of being in a relationship, period. He's saying that this type of woman was his balance. Even though he was suffering from depression or any type of mental disorder, right? He was using the woman that he was in a relationship with to bring balance. The reason why I don't agree with this is because that is unrealistic and that was unfair for him to put that woman into that situation. It is very unfair for him to put that woman in that situation. Now, it's one thing. It's one thing if she and he, they both enter into the relationship, that he end up manifesting this depression or this sort of type of mental disorder, right? And they struggling with that. But however, just like I gave y'all the definition of struggle relationship, right? It is his responsibility to do what he needs to do in order for him to better himself, okay? It is not her responsibility, but it's his responsibility to figure that out. The best thing that she could do is to continue to be a support group, or as y'all call it, help me in that situation. As long as the situation then manifests itself into a toxic situation, then it is okay to stay in that struggle, because at the end of the day, there should be a desirable outcome. The desired outcome is that this dude should be in and out of his depression or whatever it is that he's talking about, okay? But if he's not making the effort to do that, then guess what? He is creating an unrealistic expectation in that relationship. Therefore, that relationship can become very toxic. Another one point that I want to make to y'all is this, and this really the reason why I shared this video. I want y'all to women. I want y'all to understand something about men. All right, I want y'all to understand this about us. A lot of us men, other than simps and beta males, right? But a lot of us men, we be suffering in silence for real. We be dealing with a lot of things that be happening in the world for real. We deal with the expectation that we need to become a man, you know, so we could be socially accepted. We deal with even you know, women telling us that we need to be men. We deal with other type of social norms as well too. If you part of certain type of religion, men deal with the religion part about that. If you're part of race, we deal with the race aspect of that as well too. So we be holding a lot of burden on our shoulders for real. We do. We haven't truly been taught how to release that. Okay, release that burden. We're only been taught that we need to just consume it. And the reason why we've been taught to consume it is because you're a man. You can take it. You can handle it. You can handle it all. So we deal with a lot. We got all this that's in us and stuff right there. We deal with every single day. Every single day. Then let's say, we end up entering into a relationship, right? And instead of us seeing that woman as being a helpmeet for us, we give the position of that woman to literally help us to change or whatever the case may be, something crazy and weird, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, that is unrealistic. It's unrealistic. And I believe a lot of us as men, right, we need to take accountability for our own said behavior, where we need to start understanding that it's okay to be vulnerable at times. It's okay. It's okay to not only be vulnerable, but it's also okay to have a certain type of fear. It is okay, because that's all part of being a human. It is okay to accept shortcomings. It's okay. It is okay for us to accept that. Because within our shortcomings produce opportunities. Okay. Shortcoming produces opportunities. But that's only if you as a man is mature enough to understand the assignment. Speaking of shortcomings, I want to share this on next video with y'all, okay? This next video, I want y'all to listen also attentively to what this young lady is going to say about shortcomings, all right?
They call me crazy, but it seems like the only way women can be consistently happy in a relationship is if men don't fall short in any capacity. Like they can't mess up at all, or have any shortcomings that sometimes they can't help. Like, for example, if he were to lose his job for a time period and he's actively looking, women don't want to be having to be providers for too long, right? Or if he gets sick, or if he becomes disabled, or, if it's something that requires more than the normal routine, y'all ain't going for it, right? But you are supposed to be his backup, his support system. Like, literally how y'all be backing up your best friends, your man is supposed to be your best friend. So if he should fall on rough times, you're supposed to be there to support him, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I'm presenting this on video to y'all is because this is something that a lot of modern day women think. They when they look at us as men, right, they see us as we this type of superhero, right? They feel that since we is this type of superhero that we're not vulnerable. We just could take whatever thrown at us. Okay. They not only that, they have a high expectation that we should be able to handle everything, that nothing shouldn't happen to us. They also have this high expectation, believing that when these type of shortcomings happening, right, that we should have an exit strategy immediately. But in some cases, we just don't. We just don't. Hold on, give me one moment, y'all. But yeah, we just don't. I remember and this is in my this is in my current marriage, okay, with Mrs. Urban. There's a situation that came up with us, right, where Mrs. Urban, she was expecting a solution to a certain problem, right? And like always, she is so used to me always having the answer, okay? Which, to be honest, in reality, I always provide her with a solution to whatever type of situation that happens. But in this particular situation, I didn't have no answer to it. I didn't have no answer. I didn't have no solution. Hell, I didn't even know how to deal with it. But guess what I told her? When she presented this problem, right, I told her that I have absolutely no idea how to handle this whatsoever. I don't have no solution to it. I don't even know remotely how we could figure this out, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't. And it shocked her because like I stated earlier, she's used to me always coming up with a solution to various situations that comes up in our relationship. She's used to that, okay? But this situation, I just didn't have it at that moment. I just didn't know. I just honestly didn't know. But the reason why I'm sharing this with y'all is because, once again, ladies, it is okay for a man to not know it all. It is okay for us to be, it's okay for us to not know it all. And furthermore, y'all need to allow us as men to be vulnerable to you, to let you know that we don't have the answer. We don't know. We honestly do not know. And when we say that we don't know, right? It ain't because, it's not because we're being weak. It's not because we're being weak or anything like that. It is because we just don't have the answer at the moment. We honestly don't. That's how it was in my situation. I just didn't have the answer. I didn't know. I didn't have no answer. I didn't know how to figure it out. And women need to allow men to have their vulnerability, to have that space where we could be honest with them and be realistic to them and tell them, we just don't know. Sweetheart, we don't know. I don't know. Sometimes, women, y'all be presented a situation like say, for example, you be at work and you deal with this old crazy ass supervisor at work, right? And y'all just, you go and vent to us and, you tell us about the problem, whatever. Then you end up after you end up venting and stuff, right? You end up saying, "Well, babe, how do you feel about this situation?" Then sometimes we're participating in a situation, and we be like, "Yeah, blah blah blah, yeah, this messed up, blah blah blah, whatever," right? But the other times where we be like, "I don't know, I don't know, I have no idea." I have absolutely no idea. But when we say that, right, it's not because we're not being attentive to you. It's not because it's not that we're not being understanding. It's not that we're not caring about you or loving you or loving what you're talking about. Whatever. It is for the simple fact that we just do not know. We don't know how to handle it, and y'all have to allow us that space. For that space and that vulnerability to say that to you without having any type of negative repercussions behind it. But if you don't allow us to have that type of space, then guess what? Y'all gonna end up presenting unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations is gonna manifest itself into a toxic, abusive relationship. Guaranteed. But let's continue, y'all.
And again, y'all don't give men room to have struggles, at times, and y'all don't really give them enough room to show that you're willing to actually be there for them. A lot of y'all just choose, I'm out. I don't have to put up with this. I don't have the capacity to deal with this. And if you can't handle a man, during his rough patches, there's going to be trials and tribulations, right? And if you can't handle some of the trials that he goes through, you ain't ready for a relationship, right? It should not be looked at as a chore to support your partner. It should.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I agree with that. And that's another thing that happens too. Like behavior wise, instead of you doing things because you truly love that person, end up becoming an obligation. Okay. Now, once again, when I was telling y'all about my first marriage, right, that's ultimately what it became. It became more of an obligation, not because it's something that you're willing to want to do. And sometimes that situation, it happens that way. Where there's, like I stated, the struggle end up becoming toxic, end up becoming a toxic, abusive relationship. When you're in a relationship, when you're sharing that moments with that person, you should be enjoying every aspect of that moment, whether it's good or bad. And when I'm saying good or bad, I'm not talking about toxic. I'm talking about dealing with good things and dealing with things where it becomes a struggle. But the overall moment of it should be great. It shouldn't be an obligation. Before I continue this particular video, let me talk to you about gender roles real quick, all right, since I'm thinking about it. When we talk about gender roles, right, we think that gender roles means that a woman have a certain assignment to do or obligation to do, and this man have a certain assignment or obligation to do. I have said this a lot of times, and I'm gonna say it again. I believe that gender roles is obsolete. Not only that, I believe that gender roles is toxic as hell. The reason why I believe that gender roles is toxic as hell is because it is unrealistic for you to think that this person needs to do this, and that in order for your relationship to work. That's very unrealistic. Say, for example, men, y'all will say this, that y'all want y'all woman to cook. Not only does cook, y'all want y'all woman to be a chef. Not only a chef, y'all want y'all woman to be a master chef, like Gordon Ramsay or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Want your woman to do that. You want your woman to not only be a master chef, but you want your woman to cook every single day, 24/7. Whenever the hell you say you hungry, you want that woman to run into the kitchen and fix you a goddamn sandwich every single time because you want it. Not only that, you want that woman to run and wash your clothes whenever you want it to happen. You want that woman to normally wash your clothes. You want this woman to be the best down lover that you ever had. I mean, like porn star level lover. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want out of that woman. Oh no, women, y'all not getting away from this because y'all the same the hell way. Y'all want this dude to sit up here and always take the trash out. You want this dude to always sit up here and cut the yard. You want the dude to sit up here and do all these other different things that you want him to do. Financially provide for you and all these different things, right? You want this dude to be the best down lover that you ever had in your life. You want all these type of things from this dude. But in reality, all these things that I mentioned about is toxic as hell. Knowing it's toxic as hell is unrealistic. It is unrealistic to sit up here and obligate somebody to do a certain type of specific duty as though as you running a business. Now, we like to say, especially in this modern day, we like to say that when you're in a relationship or when you're in a marriage is like a business. But to be honest with you, when I think about it, right, to be honest with you, I beg to differ. I think it needs to be a separation from marriage and business altogether. Now, I understand the point I understand that where people go and legally get themselves married, right? I understand that it's a contract and we deal with contracts that deals with the business aspect of it. But what I want to give y'all to understand is this. Whenever you do that contract, right, that business contract only deals with the certain type of assets that's gained into that marriage. That's the only reason why it's there. Meaning that you end up having a type of one business or money or finances and you bring it to the relationship. She end up having any type of certain type of money, finance, she brings it to the relationship. And let's say, hypothetically speaking, something were to happen in that relationship. Like say, for example, she were to die, you were to die. Legally, you have to figure out how to handle that type of assets that's into that relationship. That's why the one contract, the marriage contract is in it for that reason. Or let's say, hypothetically speaking, y'all end up no longer want to be in a relationship for whatever reason, separation agreement, whatever type it is, what type of situation it is, right? That contract means that you're terminating that contract, which is a divorce. You terminate that contract and y'all end up separating the assets that y'all gained together. That's the only reason why it is there. But other than that, it ain't no purpose of that. Okay? So therefore, your marriage is not a business at all, period. I believe that it has to be separations from that. Likewise, when you're talking about gender roles and stuff, right? I don't believe in gender roles because gender roles creates obligation. Obligation creates toxicity in that relationship. It makes that relationship instantly become toxic. I want y'all to understand this too. Before entering into that relationship, everything other than sex, right? Every other thing that you as a single person, you should already know how to do, period. I'm going to say it again. Other than sex, everything as you as a single person, you should already know how to do. What do I mean? You should already know how to cook, regardless of you're a man or woman. You should already know how to cook because you have to take care of yourself while you're single, right? You should already know how to cook. You should already have the common sense and decency to know how to clean. You should have the common sense to go out and get a job and provide for yourself financially. You should already know how to have yourself well-groomed and everything while you're single, both man and woman. So when you enter into that relationship, all you are bringing to the table is your skills and ability that you should already learn while you're single. When you bring that set of skills to the table of that relationship, guess what? That's when the relationship that's when the relationship is actually 100%, because you already brought that skill into the relationship. Not this damn stupid 50-50 stuff that y'all talking about. Period. It is no such thing as a 50-50 relationship. No. Don't let this social norm and this modern day ideology think that that's how the way it should be, when it's not. When I enter into my relationship, right, I already had the skills necessary to do everything. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to wash clothes. I know how to do everything possible. Likewise, Mrs. Irvin, she know how to do the same set skills as well too. And we brought that thing together. So now when we're in a relationship, right, we don't be sitting up here thinking and wondering who's going to cook or who's going to clean, who's going to wash the clothes. We do it because we're two human who understand common sense. We understand common sense that these things need to be done in order for the household to thrive. Because these things was already been done before we enter into that relationship. It is common sense. So when you enter into the relationship, you're not going to stop doing what you're supposed to be doing while you're single. But some people think that way. They think that when they enter into the relationship that you aren't supposed to do nothing. You aren't supposed to work. You aren't supposed to want to cook based on who could cook. No, that ain't how that works. So that's why I say I don't believe in gender roles at all, period. Gender roles need to be obsolete. And here's another thing too, and I'm being honest with y'all. Through my education, right, through my not only my education but through my research, right, I learned the origins of gender roles. Okay, the true origins of gender role came particularly in the Western culture. It came based on the patriarchal system. It came from the patriarchal system, meaning that here's a man or men who was toxic as hell. They wanted so much control in the relationship that they felt obligated, that since they brought in the bread or was the breadwinner of their time, right? They felt that since they the breadwinner, that they didn't have to do nothing in the house, all except for go out and work and come back. They felt that way. And so they treated their wives in that same way, that she was obligated to do that. Since I'm doing this, since I'm going out, I'm quote unquote hunting and gathering, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? I'm going out fighting wars and, doing these different things. I'm appointing, I'm making you do all these things, cooking and cleaning, take care of the kids, all the stuff there, because I'm doing all the other stuff. And when I get in, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it at all, period. Therefore, these women, right, they started realizing that this was an unfair deal. They started realizing that not only it's an unfair deal, they started pushing back on it. Hence, this is what creates feminism. And once again, I'm just being 100% weird with y'all, because like even right now, there are many men out there right now who want to. I hear it all the time. They always talk about that they want to stick to the traditional roles of relationship. When they talk about traditional roles, they're commonly talking about the patriarchal system based on what happened in the past. But to be honest with y'all, we're not living in the past anymore. We're living in the present. We're living on in the present. We're looking towards the future. Everything that happened in the past, it happened for that reason in the past. It worked for the past. But just because it worked for the past, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the present and it's going to work for the future. Just like I stated earlier in this live, There's such thing as universal law and universal principle, meaning that things is always going to evolve. There's a thing called evolution, where things is always going to constantly change. Things is always going to constantly change. Things is going to always constantly adapt itself. That's what's going to happen. So sometimes we just need to just let it go. It worked in the past, but now it doesn't work like that no more in this present time, or maybe in the future. It doesn't work like that no more. And it's okay. It is okay. Let me address the comments real quick before we go deeper in this, all right? Once again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up while you want to come on in. If you're a content creator, you're able to shout me out. By all means, shout me out as well, too. Shout me out. Thank you, appreciate it. Gary, salute, welcome. I see you, brother. See you in the chat. Gary, he actually said this. He said, what do you say to the man that says he only needs a woman for sex and childbirth? What would I say about that? I say this. If that man only needs that woman just to procreate and procreate only, then that man do not need to engage into a relationship with that woman. He don't. Leave that woman alone and let her find a man who actually wants to be in a relationship with her. If he wants to just procreate, all he have to do, and I'm be real with you, since we're talking about modern day time, all he have to do is simply go to a sperm bank, donate his sperm, and there, he got a child. If you want to deal with a woman who wants to, in a sense, become a surrogate as well too, right? All you gotta do is find a woman who's more than willing to be a surrogate and go from there. But he had to tell that woman up front, be realistic with that woman up front, saying that, hey, I do not want to be in a relationship. All I'm looking for is to have a child with you. To be honest with you, Gary, there are women out there right now who does this very same thing. We call them baby mamas. We call them single mothers or baby mamas. There are women who purposely, they don't want to be in a relationship with these dudes. They only want to procreate with this dude for financial reasons. These are the same type of women where you look at, like, say, for example, actors or people who are high earners, right? They end up trapping these dudes, right? They trap these dudes and they end up having kids for that very reason. So they're both men and women who engage in these type of practices. And so once again, that needs to be something that needs to be upfront and stated upfront. Scorpio, she said this. I tell you, it will not be a third. I can't stand these men. Scorpio also say this. I don't want a woman either. Gary, he said this. He said 50-50 relationships would fail, won't work because you aren't putting all into it. All right. Now, once again, when we talk about 50-50 relationship, once again, I want to give you the understanding of what I'm talking about 50-50 relationships, because some people understand about 50-50 relationship is that they believe that you should do your particular load of the relationship while the other person should do their particular load on the relationship. But here's, once again, my understanding about it. When you talk about 50-50 relationship, right, to me, the math is not mathing to me, all right? So if you're only given only 50% of whatever it is that you have or what you bring into the relationship, right? Where's the other 50% going? Because ultimately, you as an individual should already be at 100%. So where's the other 50% going? You're only giving 50% towards this relationship. She's only giving 50% towards relationship. So where's the other 50% at? Where's it at? So that's why I say instead of doing that, why not go into the relationship full-fledged 100%? Just like I stated earlier, right? Well, I stated earlier about gender roles and stuff, right? Where you should already know how to do these certain things prior before entering into a relationship. That's how it should be. 100%. You should already know how to do this stuff. You should already have these things together prior before entering into the relationship, period. So that is my particular understanding about 50-50 versus 100% relationship. Scorpio says this. That's one reason Scorpio got a big mouth, because I've been through a whole lot of crap. Hey, Scorpio, me too. I've been through a lot too. But by us going through a lot, right, we have gained a lot of wisdom as well too. At least that's what should happen, is that we gain a lot of wisdom and understanding, you know. Gary said this. He said, I agree with that. It doesn't make sense, but what people want. Then Gary fought back and said this. Tell them, Urban, give them your all or give them nothing. Facts. That's why facts. Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to give them all. If you don't give them your full you, then what's even the point of being in a relationship? You might as well stay single. But let's continue on listening to about shortcomings, all right? Hope y'all enjoying the stream, all right? Because I'm pouring out to y'all today, for real. Give y'all all this good old wisdom.
Something that you want to do. I mean, think about somebody that you love dearly and how you support them. Like, I don't understand why your partner is not put on that same realm. But anyway, yeah, y'all make it almost impossible for men to actually show that they're human. If they are not perfect all the time, or if they fall short, it's like a time limit, you know, an unspoken time limit. If a woman is unhappy, you know, for too long regarding her situation, she out. And what makes this even crazier is that y'all want these men to love you through your trials and tribulations.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I stopped it right there too, is because even with dealing with things like, say for example, dealing with financial, right? A woman had been programmed through social norms, right? Hold up. A woman had been programmed through social norms that a man's supposed to be that provider. When they say that a man's supposed to be that provider, meaning that they want the man to provide all the financial things in that relationship, period. Hell, I even heard this, what a lot of women would say. They would say that they want the man to be that provider financial, where they want the man to pay all the bills, right? They want that dude to pay all the bills. But however, when it's dealing with her money, right? Her finances, guess what? They say that we are obligated to do whatever we want to do with our money. I done heard this a lot. I have been into several spaces where these women would say this. They want this man to spend all this money taking care of her, providing for the household, groceries, clothing, trips, all kind of stuff. But when it comes to her and her money, she could do whatever hell she want when she chooses to do it. I want to let y'all know right now that is a very unrealistic expectation. Furthermore, I want to let y'all know that is not a great outcome at all, period. Furthermore, I want y'all to get to the understanding that women, if you have this ideology, if you think in this way, then in reality, you truly do not love that dude, period. Because if you truly love that dude like you say you do, just like how Gary stated in the chat, give your all or give nothing at all. Part of your all isn't just giving your body for whenever you want to have sex. The full part of your all is everything, including financial. If that man is more than willing to give everything to you, including financial, you should be willing to do the same exact thing for that man, including financial. I have heard this on saying too, that women say. Women say this: what's his is mine, and what mine's is mine's. Once again, what's his is mine's, and what mine's is mine's. That is some bull crap for real. That's some bull crap for real. It is.
It's just fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
It is. It is. To be honest, she get the first part right. What mine is hers, which that is true. Because once again, that dude is giving all himself to her. Everything. But the second part is unrealistic and it's false. Because that goes back to the whole notion about 50-50. It's like this dude giving 100 and this woman only giving 50% of her. To be honest with you, if you're a man right now and you're dealing with a woman like that, that's not a struggle relationship. That is a toxic relationship. That is a toxic relationship because she don't care about you like she says she do, because she's not giving her all to you. She don't love you like she says she do, because if she do, she'll give her all. Everything. 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 Here's another thing that women say that I'm putting y'all on the spot, women, about the bullshit that y'all say. Here's another one that y'all say. When it deals with procreator right, y'all say this. Y'all would say that these are my children. Once again, y'all say these are my children. As though as you literally discredit that man. Because if it wasn't for that man asserting his sperm into you, so during your ovulation period, right? So it could reach to your egg, so it could create that life that's in you, then it never would have happened. So y'all would say some stupid crap, this is my children. No, it is not your kid. It's not. It is y'all children, because y'all both took the time to procreate together. Regardless of the circumstance, regardless if you're married, regardless if it's something you chose to do, whatever the situation is, y'all chose for that situation to happen the way it is. So it's not your kid. It's not your child. It is y'all children. Same thing with men. I heard some weak beta men that say the same thing. My kid. As though he created the kid by himself. No, sir. It is y'all children. Because y'all the one who took the time to procreate that child together. Once again, this is dealing with the whole aspect about 50-50 versus 100. You have to give all yourself to each other, or it's not going to work. How in the hell are you going to be able to procreate if you don't give all yourself? It's very easy for a man to, you know what I'm saying, insert his penis inside the woman and stroke her. Then right at the moment, he can just pull out. It's very easy to do that. Very easy to do that. But guess what? When he do that, he don't give his all to her. He's not giving his all to her. Same thing about whenever you going through, you know, the sexual course, the sexual interaction. If y'all not giving all to each other, where y'all in the moment, y'all enjoying the moment, then next thing you know, both y'all end up having a sexual arousal or having a sexual orgasm with each other. If you're not giving that to each other, then you're not giving your all. I'm being real with y'all. I'm being 100% real with y'all. You're not giving your all. And when you don't do that, not only that's being unrealistic, that's being unfair, then eventually end up becoming toxic because you're not giving your all in every way possible. I'm just saying. Let me address some of these on chat again. We're going to get deeper into this, all right? Want to get deep to this. Once again, I appreciate everybody who's tuning into the stream right now. Those of y'all who are coming in, if you didn't hit that thumbs up, by all means hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel out a lot. Those of you who are able to show me out. And everyone who watching in the bushes, thank you as well too. And everyone who's going to catch the replay of this, salute to you and thank you for tuning in to this on stream. All right. So today, the conversation we're talking about is that I'm giving y'all the reasons why you should stay in struggle relationships, okay? I'll give you all these reasons why you should stay in it. And in the beginning, I stated to y'all that there's a difference between being in a struggle relationship versus being in a toxic relationship. Now, in order for you to understand my difference between that, I recommend that if you didn't catch it, I recommend that you catch the beginning of the stream and I'll break it down to y'all. Explain to y'all the difference between being in a struggle relationship versus in a toxic relationship, all right? So let me go ahead and address this chat real quick again. We're going to go deeper into this. Let's do this. I agree with that. It doesn't make sense, but that's what people want. Yep. Thank you for saying that earlier. Women loves with a condition that men can afford to have. Women loves with a condition that men can afford to have. To be honest with you, Gary, I actually agree with you on that. I don't know if you remember, Gary, but we was on a panel. I think we was on a panel with Cherish. We was on the panel with Cherish, and we was talking about the difference between conditional love and unconditional love, and I was explaining my perspective about the difference between conditional and unconditional love. And one of the things that I was saying was that we as humans love each other conditional, meaning that longest there's certain things met, that's when we declare that we love that person. But the moment when you're not meeting these certain type of expectations, regardless if it's realistic or unrealistic, right? Guess what? We no longer love each other. And guess what we do? We end up discontinuing that relationship. So in reality, we really don't operate in unconditional love like how people who are religious is, how the way people religious are, whether if you're Christian or you want Islam or whatever the case may be, wherever your religious preference is, we don't operate under unconditional love like how the way we see how God, the Most High God, Jesus, Yahshua, HaMashiach, or whoever you want to call them. We don't operate under that. We only operate under conditions. As long as these certain conditions is met, then we'll say that we love each other. But the moment when the conditions are not met, then that's what we're going to disvalue that relationship right then and there. Gary, he followed up and said this. He said, that is why women aren't getting married either. They don't want to lose the finances they earn if they are the breadwinners, won't deal with average as best men. And once again, I could agree with that. I agree with that. A lot of our modern day women, they also feel that they have options just as well as men. And so what women do, these modern day women do, they put themselves in a category, as you want to call it, to where they be in a competitive level of the other one relationship marketplace with them. This is why these same type of women, they'll go out and get these degrees. They'll become breadwinners. They do all these different things because these type of women who ultimately end up becoming feminists, right? They feel like that they don't need to be with a man. They don't have to be in a relationship. They don't. They feel like that all they have to do is please their sexual appetite by, just every now and then having sex with a dude and just be done with it. And some of these modern day women who are feminists, right? Some of them, they even go to the stream, like I was saying earlier, you know, how I said that a man should go to a sperm bank and donate a sperm. These women, they'll go to the sperm bank and get assimilated and get a child like that. Or like I stated also earlier, some of these women, they'll trap a dude. They'll do all these different things, but they won't be in a relationship with these dudes at all. They won't. Then another thing about the average is best dude, you know what? I ain't gonna talk about that. That's another show for another time. Because everybody made me break this whole thing down. I'll talk about that another show another time. All right. But Scorpio say this: we women turning out girls ain't shit. I think that's what she said. If it's your child, should the man be responsible? If it's your child, should the man be responsible? Absolutely, he should be responsible. Because it's his child. He is just as responsible for the child as the woman is. Absolutely. Absolutely, you should be. But we know that in modern day culture, there are certain things that happen that cause the man to no longer be responsible to it. So the situation happened. Like say for example, the relationship ended up being toxic, where the woman end up keeping that dude from being with his child. It happens. Another situation that we need to consider too, like let's say, for example, that man don't want to have want to be obligated to being in that child's life. He stopped being in that child's life, right? He stopped visitations, right? And some men will opt to literally give away their legal rights from that child. They'll do that. So yeah, I'm proud of my girls. They better than I was, but I did not have no help. Hey, Bill, what's up with it, man? Salute. Welcome. Shanawa, what's up? Salute, welcome. Say this on. There's no point in getting married anymore. Even the richest man on the planet can't keep their wives. Who can? Our money isn't the way. God isn't the way. Family doesn't matter anymore. Now, to be honest with you, I understand where you're coming from. I understand. So I'm one of them type of red pill manosphere type of guy where I understand both perspectives. I do. When we dealing with this modern day culture right now, especially in this Western culture, right? There's a lot of things that has happened that's transpired right now, dealing with relationship. From the man perspective, right? I don't know if you're a man or whatever, right? But from a man perspective, right? We're dealing with the rise of feminism. We're dealing with the rise where women are now becoming independent, where they no longer need a man. We're dealing with the behavior and attitudes of these same type of women too, where they're taking advantage of men. We're dealing with the behavior of these women where they will marry a man just to divorce that man just so they can acquire 50% of the assets that he earned. Some women will even marry and end up becoming impregnated, right? Just so they could divorce and put this dude on not only alimony but on child support. So there are a lot of things that these type of modern day women are doing right now. These modern day feminist women are doing right now, and that's why I say I understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you on that. But however, I always encourage this with everyone. I always encourage everyone that if it is a possibility that you are considering being married, it is very, very important, especially during this time, for you to really, really do your due diligence to vet out that person who you're in a relationship with. Don't try to be in a relationship with a person just because they look good. Don't try to be in a relationship with a person because they have a certain skill set that's going to help you elevate. Don't try to be in a relationship because they could get you financial stable or whatever the case may be. You need to properly vet out that person for real. When I once again when I met my wife right now, because I'm married, when I met my wife, Mrs. Urban, before we even got into a relationship, before we even started like seriously dating, we vetted the hell out of each other for real. Part of the whole process of vetting is that you need to start asking the right questions. And I believe that a lot of people, especially ones who are watching this podcast right now, I honestly believe that y'all don't ask the right questions because sometimes we get caught up in a moment. We get caught up because that person looked good. We get caught up with only the representation of that person instead of the true, authentic self of that person. So when upon looking over, asking the right questions before entering into that relationship, then guess what we do? We be knees deep into that relationship. They get even deeper to it where we start drowning in that relationship, where things start happening, right? Where you start getting challenged, or as what I'm talking about right now, dealing with struggles, right? That struggle end up becoming toxic because you didn't ask the right questions. You didn't properly vet out that person. And when I'm talking about vetting out, I'm talking about vetting out everything about them. Finding out their upbringing, how the way their parents was. Do they love their parents? Were their parents together? Were their parents not together? Their religious beliefs, what they believe in, why they believe in what they believe in. Ask them challenging questions. Financial. How you look at financial? How do you take care of your money, or you're a heavy spender? Do you spend it all? What is it that you do? How do your credit score look? Because that is important in this modern day. How do your credit score look? Do you have good credit? Do you have bad credit? Tell me about your background. Do you have any felonies on your background? Have you robbed someone? Have you committed a heinous act? Or what is it? What's in your background that I need to know about? What's your one perspective about children? Do you want children? Do you not want children? What happens if we just so happen end up becoming pregnant and have a child? How are we going to handle that situation? Are we going to keep the child? Are we going to have an abortion? See, all these questions need to be asked up front and continue to be asked so you have an understanding of who you're dealing with. Ask questions about their friends, their circle, who they're around with. Do their friends want them to go out and have a hot girl summer every summertime, and they want that tradition to continue? Or what? Are their friends married? Are their friends single? And they're both for men and women. Ask the right questions, the challenging questions. Sometimes when you ask these challenging questions, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be some pushback. When you get that pushback, you know exactly where that person's mind is at, and they'll let you know right off the bat if you want to go into that investment, if you want to invest your time and energy on that person. But you have to get to that point of figuring out. Now, I made the point of saying this, that I don't believe that relationships should have a I don't believe a relationship should be one and the same as businesses. You know what I'm saying? But in this example, I'm gonna give you the example of a business. Okay, whenever you're going out and going into a business, whether if you're trying to sign a contract or being employed by an employer, or you're self-employed, or you're the CEO of your company, right? What you should do is that you should properly vet out every possible things about whatever type of business that you're trying to invest into. You should vet out the good in it, the bad in it, the pros, the cons, all that stuff in it, right? Then when you know that, you will make the decision whether or not you're going to totally invest into that or not. You're going to totally commit to that or not. Likewise, when you dealing with when you dating, right, you should do the same as that thing. You should. You should see all the good and bad, the pros and cons, and everything. Then you should make a decision. Sometimes we don't make good, sound decisions. Sometimes we make decisions based on feelings and emotions. And that's how we get caught up. I'm just saying, y'all. Shalomi followed up and said, this is why being very picky who your partner in life is so important. I don't believe the young or a good judge of character. And I agree with you on that. And follow up and also said this, because of the global connectivity, people think that they can throw away years of relations because Mr. and Mrs. Right is out there somewhere. Just they don't want to use goods, which I agree with that as well too. Good point. And last but not least, I say this, I'm a father. My son is young. He's not going to be dated for many years, yet I need to stay in touch with the modern day dating landscape so I can teach him how to find a woman or how to be safe, which that is good. That is great. Want to know why that's great? Because that's the same way how I teach my children too. Because that's why I stated earlier that things is never going to be the same. Things is always going to evolve, and it's constantly going to evolve. And that's part of universal law. Okay, so yeah, I teach my children the same as that concept as well too, about the dating market. And they're young, and I teach about the dating market. And I start giving them techniques of how the way you can properly vet out people and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. But yeah, good questions. Appreciate y'all participating in the one chat. Let's get back to the final part of this video and let's hear this.
You don't want to be judged or left unsupported through some of the things that you go through. But the moment he hits a rough patch, and if the rough patch lasts too long in your head, you ain't going for it. So again, we ain't fair. We're not fair when it comes to, you know, our expectations and our willingness to commit to a person.
Yeah, facts. Everything she said, I agree with. Absolutely. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is that women, you need to understand that us as men, we do have our shortcomings. We do have our struggles, even while being in a relationship. Like I stated earlier, there'll be times where you be looking for us to have the solution or to have the answer to whatever it is that we deal with, but sometimes we just don't know. We have no idea. We have no idea how to want to deal with the situation. We have no idea how to handle it. But eventually what's going to happen is that we're going to figure it out. And all that we ask is that you give us time to figure it out. Sometimes that time may take days. Sometimes that time may take weeks. Sometimes that time may take years. But just understand that if you with a good quality man and that relationship ain't toxic, best to believe that he's going to figure it out. And when he figure it out, it's going to be beneficial. Okay? Next video. Absolutely. So this particular video I want to share with y'all because this is going to give a man is talking to us about from a woman's point of view. Because just like how we as men have times where we struggle, women struggle as well too. Women struggle as well too. But the only difference between a man and a woman is that we have the ability to kind of mask our feelings. You know what I'm saying? But women, they don't have the ability to mask their feelings. They wear their feelings on their sleeve. You will see their feelings. You'll see how the way they're feeling. You'll see them struggling. You'll see them dealing with certain type of situation. And that's good too. I'm sure y'all this story. And Bill, I'm sorry, Will. I see you coming. I'm addressing it in a minute too. Let me share this other story too. I like sharing stories about my marriage. The reason why is because I want to be as honest with y'all as possible, especially as me being a man who's married. I want to be as realistic as possible without me putting too much of my business out there. But there was a situation that happened, right, where Mrs. Urban, she was dealing with a moment with herself, right? She was dealing with a moment where she was feeling inadequate. She was feeling inadequate. She was feeling insecure. She was feeling that she wasn't good enough. She was feeling that she wasn't pretty enough. All these different things, right? That she was dealing with, and she started struggling with that. Then not only that, there were other things that was happening as well too. One thing I know about Mrs. Urban, and I love her for this, but at the same time, I'll be like, man, she where she's passionate about certain things, she's going to give her all with that certain thing, all right, regardless of what it is. She's going to give her all into it. She's going to be fully into it. But sometimes when she do that, right, she end up becoming stressed on it, okay? And that stress end up leading to her sometimes shutting down. Now, all these things that she experiencing, it is nothing wrong with that, because that is part of being a human being. When you deal with levels of, situations of stress, that tends to happen, okay? But here's the thing that I want y'all to understand. While she was going through this situation or this process, right, guess what I was doing as a husband? I wasn't talking down on her. I wasn't trying to figure it out, per se, trying to figure out why she's behaving the way that she's behaving. Because I wasn't looking at it even as a behavior as being negative or even toxic at all. But what I was doing as her husband is that I started getting understanding. But the only way you're going to get understanding is by communication. Once again, the only way you're going to get understanding is by communication. So I ask her certain questions about, why you're in this space, why you feel the way that you feel. Then I ask this important question too, which is going to go along to the next video I'm going to show y'all. I ask her this important question. I ask, what is it that I can do to help assist you in this situation? You tell me. Because just like I stated earlier, sometimes there be situations where we don't have the answer. And I can honestly admit that as a man, it be situations where I just don't have the answer or the solution. But however, if I ask the right questions, then it will help me to help figure it out for us. And so we'll communicate. We'll ask. I ask her, like, so what is it that I can do? What is it that I can bring to you that will help you? And she began to express that. She began to express certain different things about like where this and that and that and that. And she'll ask questions like, well, do you want to believe? Do you believe that I'm still pretty even how I am right now? And different like that. Now, when she asked that question, and this is just wisdom for men who are watching right now, who are in a relationship, or if you're thinking about being in a relationship right now with a woman, whenever a woman asks you, do you still think they're pretty, right? Do you believe that they're still pretty? This is your duty as a man. This is what you should do as a man. When they ask that, right, you should, to the best of your ability, to overly exaggerate it. When I say over exaggerate, I don't mean lie, like lie. I mean over exaggerate it. When Mrs. Urban asked me that, right, this was my response. I said, girl, hell yeah, you pretty. Not only you pretty, you fine as hell. God damn. Girl, you as fine as hell. And she began to kind of smile and giggle a little bit. I'm like, I don't know what you're laughing about. I don't know what you're laughing about because I'm being real with you. You fine as hell. And I go over there and slap her on the booty and give her a kiss and, different things like that and stuff. Overly exaggerating it and stuff, right? But the reason why is because man, y'all need to understand that women need that reassurance. They need that reassurance. They're like, we need reassurance. They need that reassurance as well too, that they know that you are still with them, regardless of their shortcomings, regardless of their struggles, that you're still there with them, that you still see them the same exact way how you met them in the beginning. That that's because they get older, they start aging, different things like that, that you still see them the same exact way. And once again, we understand that women are also emotional as well too. So exaggerate that thing. Let her feel that she's the best thing on the planet. Let her feel that she is your Beyonce. Let her feel that she is your Rihanna, for real. That she's greater than all that, for real. Because when you do things like that, when you give her that reassurance, I guarantee to you that she's going to appreciate that. Then that's going to reset her. It's going to reset her to stay focused on whatever it is that she's dealing with. Then after that, she began to open up more about whatever it is that she's dealing with. Then eventually we both could come up with a solution to the problem, which we did. But what I'm telling y'all, from wisdom, that is very important in a relationship. Well, he said it's not easy to meet and greet the right person, which I agree with you. It's not easy. Not very easy, but when you do meet them, it'll be beneficial depending on how the way they are. Then you follow up and say, I worry about my son. The pain and pitfalls in life aren't easy for young man. Soon he will have had his last cry and last goodnight kiss after that boys don't get the kindness of society anymore, which I also agree with that as well too. I do. But let's continue, right? Facts. Everything he said, I just said it, and I agree with it. Now, let me share this with y'all. Now, these last couple of videos that I'm gonna share with y'all that we done with this podcast, but these last videos that I'm sharing with y'all is very important. Okay. So far, we learned about the man perspective for dealing with struggle relationships, how the way we see it, the things that we're going through, and what we're looking for our women. We have seen it from the woman point of view as well too, dealing with struggle relationships as well too, where they're looking for, and for us as men. All right. So these last two videos is very important. These last two videos is going to not only challenge accountability for us, but it's also going to challenge solutions as well too. All right. Listen to this first video. This first video is talking about having an emotional connection. I'm gonna let this video, this time I'm not gonna stop it. I'm gonna let this video play all the way through, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give you my perspective about this.
And I think a lot of us struggle with emotional connection within our relationships because more than likely we struggle with it in our childhood. Because
that is true.
The bids for connection don't start once you get into romantic relationships. Your bid for connection starts with the parent-child relationship. And a lot of us are emotionally immature because we learn how to turn off our emotions in order to deal with the lack of attention or affirmation or connection that we had with our parents. Then we get into, serious relationships and we don't know how to recognize emotions that other people are trying to display. We don't know how to communicate our emotions and our feelings.
Realizing a bid starts with you in your childhood is so true. Most of it goes back to us being children and not being loved properly, not being communicated with properly. The lack of me having the stability or the emotional support that's just there in the moment to say, what do you need? If you're needing understanding, or what does it look like if you're hurting or you're missing something, to just sit down and just have that moment of a heart-to-heart, heartfelt conversation of really understanding what Asha needs and not receiving that, I started to adapt that. And I didn't even realize that it was a problem until I got older and got into a relationship. And so with the biz, I definitely saw that coming up that, okay, this is what it looks like for someone to really receive my love and my attention and my connection, my affection, but that's not how I give it.
Yeah.
So let me make those adjustments. So it was very eye-opening to read that.
Now, once again, appreciate everybody who's tuning into the stream so far. I hope that the one things that I'm sharing with y'all is give you a different perspective from, like always. Now, when I'm sharing these situations from y'all, I'm sharing it from my normally from my anecdotal experiences, but also I'm sharing it from a more professional perspective as well too, dealing with relationships due to my professional being in sociology and all this stuff. But one of the key components that I want y'all to understand is that we need to have a emotional connection. The story I shared with y'all a few months ago, once again with me and Mrs. Zerby, right, where she was dealing with a certain situation, right? That whole situation was possible because of emotional connection. We established an emotional connection with each other. I believe that through my not only my anecdotal experience, but also professionally, whenever I talk to people about relationships, right? I believe that sometimes we get comfortable in our relationship where we end up losing that connection. We end up losing that emotional connection towards each other. Once again, this connection, we'll lose that connection because of struggle. We'll lose it because of struggle. We'll lose it because we're dealing with a certain situation that's beyond our control. All right, and it does happen that way. When these situations happen, and I want to let y'all know that it is, once again, it is nothing wrong because it is part of life. It's part of you living, that's being human. It happens. But the key thing that I want y'all to understand is that it's very important for you to get understanding. Furthermore, it's very important for you to have an emotional connection. Don't lose that emotional connection with each other. Because the moment when you lose that emotional connection, I guarantee that connection is going to transform, is going to manifest itself into something toxic. I guarantee that. So just like I gave that example with my wife, right? And I told y'all that I overly exaggerated that thing. The reason why I did that is because I wanted that emotional connection to stay active and strong. That was my whole intent behind it. Now, keep in mind, likewise, even though I mentioned that's what I do to her, keep in mind, she do the same exact thing to me too, where she be over exaggerating with me too. We do it to each other all the time. Where she would literally say, how proud she is of me, or, she'll flirt with me and do weird stuff, that she do. But it's the whole point that we're keeping that emotional connection going. We're keeping that line of communication going nonstop. Because once we allow toxic situations to sever that connection, then you can guarantee that your relationship is going to go downhill. Guaranteed. You could guarantee, just like what Shinobi said, once again, I agree with him earlier. Well, when you're dealing with this modern day relationship, where now everybody operated out of everybody had been hurt at one point in time dealing with toxic relationship, and now through human nature, you don't want to deal with that no more, and so through your human nature, you want to do things to avoid it. One of the easiest ways how to avoid it is by not participating in dating at all. Now, if you're in that space, right, where that's something that you want to do and you feel like that's the best course solution for you, then by all means, I'm not going to talk you down on it. I'm not. But however, if you're in that space where you feel like that You want to be in relationships. You want to not only be in a relationship, you want to be in a healthy relationship. You want to be married. But not only that, you want to be married to the right person. That what I'm telling y'all right now, if you understand where I'm coming from, it's going to help you tremendously. It's going to give you a different perspective where you can start moving and operating differently, where you're not worrying about what the world is telling you. You're not worrying about what you see on social media. You're not worrying about these different things that are happening. You know, also the late great Kevin Samuels, right? He spoke a lot about relationship. A lot of people want only focus on Kevin Samuels about the negative stuff that he was doing, like when he was inviting these women onto the shows and he was critiquing them, right? They only focus on that, but a lot of people don't actually focus on the overall intentions of Kevin Samuels' message. Well, ultimately, he's doing the same exact thing what I'm doing. Well, ultimately, he's giving you a different perspective. If you want this desired outcome, these are the things that you need to do to get the results that you need. That's all he was saying. Do it all. Same thing on this podcast, what I put out here. When I'm talking about things dealing with modern day women, talking about feminism, now I'm talking about some manosphere, red pill stuff here. I also talk about beta male simps. These dudes out here were beta male simps who is just as toxic. I talk about that as well too. But at the end of it all, I give y'all, I challenge you accountability, and I challenge you solutions that you can possibly deal with. But it's up to you to want to get it. So I thought Kevin Samuels, he threw it out there, but it's up to you to get it and manifest it into your relationship. But even furthermore, that emotional connection is very important. Final point tonight that we're going to talk about, then we'll be done with this. Once again, I'm hoping and praying that everything I want to share with y'all, it gives you a different perspective about relationship. Then it could possibly help you out as well too. All right. So we're final thing that we're going to deal with right now. When we heard about the emotional connection, right? So it was something that I mentioned earlier too. What I mentioned about is communication. So let's deal with this communication part. But let me address Shinobi coming real quick. Shinobi said this. He said this. He said, I think your message is one of hope and understanding. I fear those suffering from relationship rage won't be able to take this information on. Even then, it requires both parties to want to stay together. Facts, and I agree with you. And to be honest with you, this type of thing that I'm sharing with people right now, it takes for people to get to that understanding. But if they don't want to do it, then it's fine. It's fine. But here's something that I want y'all to consider too. Since we are in the information age, right? We in technological advancement, right? As long as my channel don't be deleted, guess what? This message is going to exist at any given time. So at any given time, somebody could click on this video and watch this video. And at any given time, they can watch this video and they can want to change them. But it's only depending on if they want to change or not. Then Shinobi follow up and say, digital communication has become more honest than actual conversation. The next generation will struggle in relationship, I suspect. I also believe the law needs to get out of the family unit somewhat. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well too. I agree. Scorpio, she says, Urban, I still say you're a top gun. Appreciate you. And she said, good job once again. Appreciate you. Gary said, hey, great talking points, Urban. You're on point. I know, bro. I know I'm on point. I always be on point. Don't think I'm arrogant about it. That doesn't mean that's how I am. But let's get to the final talking point for today, all right? Final talking point. We want to deal with communication. Now, once again, those of y'all who are tuning in, we're talking about reasons why you must stay in a struggle relationship. Once again, I had gave y'all the difference between being in a struggle relationship and being in a toxic relationship. If you didn't catch the beginning of that, by all means, when the stream is over with, you could go to the beginning and I will break down the difference between being in a struggle relationship versus a toxic relationship, all right? So the focus on this podcast, we're talking about struggle relationships, all right? Not toxic ones, all right? So let's get to the final video, all right?
The quality of your relationship will come down to the quality of your communication. But the quality of your communication will come down to the quality of your listening. You can listen to what is being said, and can you hear and listen to what is being said behind what is being said? For example, this literally happened 50 minutes ago before this call, right? So we were here. Can I share this? Interesting. So we were getting ready for the call. We had like 20 minutes and we were getting ready with all the tech stuff. And Kelly shared. What did you share before?
I was saying that I feel disconnected.
I could have easily gone into, well, like I'm feeling disconnected, and why are you feeling disconnected? And you shouldn't be feeling disconnected because we had a whole day yesterday and we've been doing all these rituals. Like, why are you feeling disconnected? I could have gone down that route. I could have got very defensive. I could have blamed. I could have judged. I could have made her wrong. Could have made myself wrong. But what did I say after that?
I think you said, what do you need right now?
There's a desire underneath all of that for connection. Okay, well, how about we did some breathing together. We did some eye gazing. We shared what we were most grateful for. What else did we do?
When I was going doing my marriage and family course, right? They had taught us these techniques where you get with your significant other, right, and you'll go into a certain space, right, and y'all do like breathing techniques, right, hearing each other breathe. You'll hold each other in hands and do that. And also when I was dealing with like certain like on counseling sessions, right, I would encourage people who I was counseling, right, I encourage them to do the same exact thing, doing like breathing techniques, doing all these different things, you know.
Yeah, we shared what we appreciate, something we appreciate that the other has done in the last 24 hours.
And then instantly, boom, connected. Some people may not be able to clearly communicate their needs because they just don't know how, or they didn't have the healthiest template on how to communicate their needs, or there may just be something in the way because it's vulnerable to say, hey, I miss you and I really want to connect with you. My invitation to you moving forward is see if you can listen to what is being said behind what is being said.
Now let's talk about this, y'all. Now the last point we was talking about an emotional connection, right? But this point we're going to talk about communication connection. All right. Emotion and communication is two of the most important points that I want to make in this whole entire stream dealing with struggle relationships. All right. It is very important to know how to effectively communicate with one another. Notice what I said. It is important for you to effectively communicate with one another. Not just communicate, but effectively communicate with one another. What do you mean, Urban? Once again, when I was going through my course of, sociology and stuff, right? There's a part of the teaching that we start learning about the difference between just communicating and effective communicating. I learned that a lot of us, I say over 90% of us, do not know how to effectively communicate with each other. Once again, I believe that over 90% of us do not know how to effectively communicate with each other. And now, even though we're talking about relationship-wise, couples, whatever, marriage, whatever, but this is also true in dealing with the social norms. We don't know how to effectively communicate. We don't. Like right now, me being a content creator, I have experience where people would be in the chat, instead of them challenging my actual talking points of what I'm saying, that would go and use what we call fallacies or ad hominems to personally attack me to make me be triggered to feel a certain type of way. My friends, that is not effective communication. Even in relationships, We don't know how to communicate properly. This is what we do. Instead of us listening for understanding, we want to listen to defend. Once again, instead of us listening for understanding, we want to instantly listen to defend. What I mean, a lot of us have a sense of entitlement. We have a sense of entitlement based on the type of wisdom and knowledge that we have acquired through our anecdotal experiences. A matter of fact, this situation happened to me last week. A matter of fact, I was on a panel, right? Matter of fact, I was on Chaotic Truth panel, right? When I was on Chaotic Truth panel, I challenged Chaotic Truth on his talking points, okay, that he was saying. Right after that, a lot of people who was on the panel, they began to, challenge my talking points as well to the gain understanding, which is nothing wrong with that. But in particular, there was a content creator. Y'all may know his channel. His channel is Might Be Risky, DJ Hemp. Now, shout out to him. But when he came on that panel, he began to challenge my talking points. And at the end of him challenging my talking points, he started using fallacies at the very end to try to discredit what I was saying. Then at the very end, he also asked this question too. He asked the question saying, you were saying these different things. Why you didn't mention this particular point too in your argument? And my response to that was that because if I were to mention that point, then it would go against my argument. It doesn't make sense for me to mention something that will totally discredit my argument right off the bat, But the reason why I am sharing this with y'all is because this dealing with communication. Now, before when Hamp was engaged me and talked to me, right? Prior before that, everybody else was asking certain questions, about what I said. Then they got to understand it, regardless if they agree with it or not, they had got to understand where I was coming from. Even right now, in effective communication, it's all about you listening for understanding instead of trying to listen to defend all the time. Now, I can honestly tell y'all that I am a man and I have a lot of knowledge and I have a lot of wisdom, and it's based on my upbringing, it's based on my anecdotal experiences, it's based on my educational experience. I have a lot of knowledge and wisdom and understanding about a lot of situations. So I am well versed in a lot of stuff. But even though that I know that I'm well versed in a lot of things, I also had learned through wisdom that through effective communication, it is more beneficial for me to listen for understanding than to try to immediately try to discredit people based on my knowledge or what I know. And this is the reason why I say that 90% of people does this, wherever type of knowledge or what it is, it could be anything. It could be your anecdotal experience. It could be your worldview. It could be your religious belief, wherever the case it may be, right? Sometimes you will, instead of trying to listen for understanding to where that person coming from, you immediately try to defend it based on your knowledge on the subject. And sometimes it will come off as though, you're being like a know-it-all. Sometimes it come out as though you're not understanding that person. Likewise, in relationships. And this I'm dealing with men. Sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, women believe that us as men, we don't understand where they're coming from. We don't. We only be defending, especially if that woman be up in her feelings and she start using fallacy, she start using ad hominems to attack us and stuff, right? We'll immediately jump into the point of, well, I'm gonna prove this. I got to prove this to you because guess what? It started dealing with our pride and ego. We're not instantly becoming egotistical. Now I know what y'all say. Well, women become egotistical too. Yep, I agree. But when that situation is happening, no effective communication is happening. Y'all both is trying to prove a point. This is why situations go unresolved. When situations come, when these struggles come, right, it goes unresolved because you're trying to prove something. Then eventually that proof and that ego and all that stuff end up manifesting into something of a toxic situation. Toxic situation end up killing the relationship. So that's why it's very important when you're dealing with these type of struggles that you need to stop and just listen for understanding. Understand where they're coming from. A lot of people don't know how to ask the right questions, like I stated earlier, about vetting out people when you prior before getting into a relationship. A lot of y'all don't know how to ask the right questions when engaging in conflict in your one relationship. Don't know how to ask the right questions. Don't know how to disengage. One thing I learned in my relationship is that whenever me and my wife have conflict or whatever, I learn when it's a time to listen. I learn when it's a time to engage. I also learn a time when it's time to disengage. I learned that. It be times where we be talking about certain situations, right? And I'm listening attentively. Then why the situation happened, I ask questions. Even if she don't agree with it, even if she don't like it, I ask certain questions about it. And then when I ask the question, I always reassure. Every single time. I'm asking this question. I'm not asking it to be funny with you. I'm not trying to prove a point. All I'm trying to do is get an understanding of where you're coming from. That's it. So we could come up with a conclusion. Then, after when I do that, right, I ask, what solution are you looking for in this situation? What is it? What solution are you looking for? And what can I do to help us get to this understanding of this solution? And that question should be asked vice versa, whether it's the man engaging and asking, or it should be the woman that's what asking that question. That's all about effective communication. Where you're keeping that line of communication going, y'all still emotionally engaged with each other as well too. That's how the way it should be. But if you don't do that, then that struggle, once again, is going to become toxic. Now, I believe that even though I'm telling y'all about, these simple techniques that you can do, I honestly believe that if you're listening right now, I honestly believe that it's very vital for you to enter into some type of counseling, for real. Because just like I say, professional counsel could be beneficial to you, but it just depends on you, how beneficial you want it to be. Now, I'm a man, once again, I'm a man, I have a lot of wisdom, I have a lot of knowledge, I have a lot of understanding. But at the same time, I'm also a man who also went through counseling as well too. I did. And I entering in to the point of not trying to prove who's right or who's wrong or whatever like that, but I enter into the point of understanding. To understand. And sometimes when you have that actual third party, and I'm not talking about your friends or loved ones or even your pastor, I'm talking about an actual professional counselor who could help you, who could teach you the techniques of how to effectively communicate with people, period. Because when I went through that situation, it taught me how to not only effectively communicate in my relationship, but it also taught me how to effectively communicate with people, period. This is the reason why I could go on here, or I could go on to social media or whatever, and I can engage people regardless of if they agree with me or not. I know how to effectively communicate with people. I know how to engage people. I know how to disengage with people. I know how to deal with conflict. It's because of that counseling I did, and also because of my experience of that. So I believe that if you're part of that 90% that I'm talking about right now, I believe that you need to get out of that 90%. You need to get out of that 90% and start learning how to effectively communicate. Because when you do, I guarantee that it is going to literally change your life for real. You're going to start seeing things from a whole different point of view for real. Now, when I say effective communication, I don't mean that you should give up your own worldviews or your beliefs or anything like that. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that effective communication is a effective tool that's going to enhance what you already know, enhance the skills that you already have. Because now you're listening for understanding, and you could be able to effectively communicate your point of view without being judgmental. Yeah, without being judgmental, without being so hypocritical all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you should do. So, and I'm in closing with all this. Should you stay in struggle relationships? Absolutely, you should. Absolutely, because at the end of the day, if you choose to stay in struggle relationships, once again, not toxic relationships, but struggle relationships, if you choose to stay, you choose to do all these different things that I'm suggesting right now, for us communication, for us staying emotionally connected to that person, I guarantee that struggle there's going to be a moment. There's going to be a moment where it's going to come and it's going to go. Trust me, it will. But it's up to you to choose that. It's up to you to choose if you want to be in that or not. I'm not here to want to tell you about right or wrong, or, you know what I'm saying, or whatever you want to do or what you would not do. I'm only here just to give you my perspective about it. That's it, like I always do on my shows. To give you a different perspective to think about. Now, whether you agree with it or not, that is totally up to you. That's totally up to you. But other than that, appreciate everyone who tuned into this show. Hopefully, I did my very best to articulate to y'all the reason why I believe that you should stay in the struggle relationships, and also gave you the pros and cons behind it, and also challenged you accountability about it, and also gave you solutions, how the way to deal with it as well too. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I did that to the best of my ability. If you like this on stream, by the way, and if you're not sub up to this channel, by all means, sub up to my channel for this great quality content that I'll be giving to you all the time, where I'll be talking about different topics dealing with relationships. All right. So like I say, you could say that I'm part of the Manosphere Red Pill community, but I see things from a different perspective. All right. I'm not that dude on here who super toxic and wants you to divest from women and want women to divest from men and all this weird stuff. I'm not the type of person. I see the problem, I tell y'all about it, challenge you on it, and give you solutions how you can deal with it. That's how I roll. All right. So I'm different. I'm differently different. All right. So other than that, if y'all enjoy this, make sure you want to sub up to the channel as well too whenever I go live. All right. Set your notifications. So okay. If you're able to shut me out as well too, by all means, shut me out and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because it helps with the channel, okay? So other than that, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Now, thank everybody who also participated in the chat. Gary, thank you so much. Scorpio Shinobi as well. Thank you so much. Will was in the chat as well too. I think Sweet Will was in the chat. Everybody else who I mentioned, who I haven't mentioned, thank you so much for pulling up as well too. And thank y'all for catching the replay of this, or if you was watching in the bushes as well too. Thank y'all so much. Other than that, y'all have a real great evening, and I'll see y'all again on the next episode. Peace out, y'all.